What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hard Hat Highlights, where Jay and I talk about some of the things that happened during our work week, and then Jason has scoured the internet for the most interesting and trending headlines and topics that we get to unpack right here on this show that's hosted on our YouTube channel called Glass Guy. If you haven't subscribed yet, we would love for you to subscribe, comment, like, share. We also have a special guest in studio today, the king himself of my shower door, Mr. Bill Dobman.
Dollar Bill.
Thank you.
My maker. All right, Jay, let's get into this.
And you're looking good today.
What do you think? Little throwback jacket?
Little dapper.
Yeah.
I love those glasses. You look like Jeffrey Dahmer. What are those, sleigh bands?
Jeffrey Dahmer, in some circles, was considered the GOAT.
I mean, I think dressed like that, you're perfect representative for customer service department.
Speaking of customer service, I need to tell you this real quick. I had a person call me today to confirm a scheduled appointment because I've been known in the past to miss an appointment or two. And this person was going over the details. We were having a nice back and forth. And I believe this person felt very comfortable in the situation, but I think crossed the line. At the end of the conversation, she's like, "Okay, thanks, pal." And I'm never short on words, never. This completely caught me off guard so much that I didn't even know what to say. Like, "Okay, we'll see you later, pal." And then that was it. That was the end of the conversation. So I guess my question for you, Dollar, if you're walking down the hallway and you happen to walk by a sales representative or a scheduling department and you hear somebody end a customer service experience with, "Okay, thanks, pal," what's your take on that? Is it professional, unprofessional, and how would you handle it? How would you correct it?
I consider that just slang, so it wouldn't bother me at all. But I've had people call me honey or, "Hey, thanks, honey." And then I'll say, "Excuse me, maybe I heard it wrong. Did you just say honey?" And put it right back on them to try and explain your way out of it. It's almost like a Chris Voss thing and put it back on them. Just go with it.
Well, that's funny you said that because when he said pal and he was kind of taken aback, I almost thought about that. Like, maybe that's something in a negotiating tactic. You're in the middle of a negotiation. It could piss them off, but it could also just take them aback, and they don't know what to do. You kind of like knock them off their game.
It threw me on my heels for sure, but I find it hard to believe, as much as I know you, and how you like to hold customer service people accountable, that you would say you're okay with a customer service specialist talking to an inbound customer saying "pal" to them.
Okay, I interpreted wrong. I thought the customer said it to the customer service rep.
No, the customer service rep that was calling me to confirm an appointment ended the conversation on, "Okay, thanks, pal."
Okay.
I'm the customer
That's
in
a
this
different
situation.
take on it. Yeah. Yeah, I would say, "Excuse me, maybe there's something wrong with my phone. Did I just hear you say pal?"
Okay, but what if it was one of our employees?
Oh, I would have a talk with them.
And how would you
definitely have a talk with them.
what would that sound like? Obviously, in a professional manner, how would you coach this person up there? Would you explain why that's bad? Would you explain these are the reasons why we don't do that and list them out? Or would you just be like, "We don't talk to people that way"?
Listen, pal, we don't talk to people that way.
I would start it off the same way. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I overhear you say pal to this person? Do you know this person? Is it a friend of yours? Because it gets interpreted wrong. I think we'd want to use a different salutation and leave it at that. So we talk to our people in a professional manner. Unless it is a personal friend of yours, I wouldn't refer to him as
I think
pal.
that's good by prefacing that, because if it is a friend of you, I could see where you call them whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, within reason.
Yeah, if it's a friend, we have names for each other that I wouldn't necessarily say in public, but I'd say if I was just to him on the phone. Yeah. Okay.
On that same line, I heard you on a call earlier today because you love to put it on speaker. What the hell was that?
I get calls from all types of people, whether it's solicitors, especially being, in this area for 21 years, this, we get calls from everybody, whether it's a charity event, a new chamber function, God only knows. People want offers, people want to schedule meetings. A person reached out asking to speak to me, and the undertone was they needed help on something. This person did not call to ask any questions, even though that's how they framed it. And when I ended up talking to this person, was going on a diatribe of what this person does, how long they've been doing it, name dropping all these things, almost kind of like trying to impress me to gain my respect. But little did he know that this actually made me completely turned off on wanting to do any business with this individual. Obviously, have you ever talked to anybody like this? That thousands of people reach out to you, marketing people,
Sure.
and they finally get you on the phone, and then they just go on this rant like they have to almost oversell something by trying to build themselves up, thinking they're doing a good job. I truly believe this person on the phone thought they were doing a good job, but it rubbed me the wrong way.
Sure.
I couldn't wait to get off the phone. I don't want to do any business with this person.
Sure.
How do you handle that?
Just like you did. I'd listen to them, let them do their thing, and I don't have any interest.
Even though it seems like an attorney in the moment, it's not very long, and then I can preserve the autonomy because maybe
You never know.
I do need something in the future.
You just never know.
Okay, that's good.
Well, I was glad to see you bundled up this morning.
Yeah,
It's cold out there.
this is freezing.
How cold is it?
Well, we got snow here in Florida. That's how cold it is.
That's a rarity, for sure.
In the Panhandle in Pensacola, they got 8 inches of snow, which they said that the Panhandle of Florida has gotten more snow this year than parts of Alaska.
That's almost hard to believe.
Well, you also got to remember we're only 20-something days into the year.
How much snow are we talking? What
So
did
Pensacola got 8 inches. There was another place up there. The name of the town escapes me at the time, but it's on. They had 9.8 inches of snow. So in all, the Panhandle of Florida had the second most amount of snow in all of Florida,
That's unbelievable.
second to Miami nightclubs.
Nice, nice.
But seriously, a lot of people had their vacations ruined with this. I saw they were interviewing people that got back to Logan Airport in Boston because they had gone down on vacation. They were disappointed because they left the snow and only to run to the snow, but probably not as disappointed as this mother was.
I saw this story on the cruise line where a family had invited one of their children's friends to go on the cruise boat with them, and then they all got back home from the cruise and.
Yeah, I mean, you've done this before. You've sent your daughter out. I've done the same thing, sent my daughter off with other families. You do not expect to, weeks later, after they return and you think everything's good, you get a bill for for their portion of the trip.
I have, in my life, have never did that. Now, I know I've gone with other families. We've taken kids. You've allowed me to take kids when we were younger. Have you ever secretly sent, I mean, maybe you have. I'm just not aware of that. Are you looking to get reimbursed for...
That's the tackiest thing I've ever heard of.
Isn't that wild?
Ever. Yeah.
I always thought parents allowed kids to bring their friends to keep the kids company and keep them the hell away from them so they can kind of try and enjoy themselves.
It's a service.
It's the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
Right.
No doubt.
I bet this is the same person that goes to the movie theater and takes a soda cup out of the trash, cleans it in the bathroom so they can get the free refills into it. Doesn't pay for that as well.
Wow.
Oh, they probably have cats too.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of vacations, did you see this Australian cruise line? They gave passengers a little more than they were bargained for.
No. What is it?
So on board, they always have activities, and one day they decided we're going to do a tug of war competition with all of the staff on board.
Yep.
So the staff come out marching in their team colors.
Almost like a parade.
Yeah. A little music going, and they're marching out. And they were dressed like, quote unquote, upside down snow cones.
They look like the Ku Klux Klan members.
Yeah.
I want to know, and maybe Bill's a marketing guru, we should ask him, at what point when you're doing marketing, when you saw the video, we showed you the video.
Yeah.
Are the marketing department on that cruise boat just tone deaf? Maybe they're unaware of this because a lot of the people that are on these cruise boats aren't even from this country. I don't know if the KKK is a
Well, this
rampant
was,
thing
in
outside.
fairness, this was an Australian cruise line, but
I feel like
come
that's
on.
such polarizing enough that everybody knows about that.
Maybe not. Maybe not if they're Australian. And maybe they were a very young marketing crew and had no idea what they were doing. None at all.
Well, if we're going to go down that road, you got to think most of these cruises are based out of like the Bahamas, so they're not even based in America. So
Yeah.
technically they are foreign.
Is there any ramifications for this? I'm sure somebody's going to want to sue the cruise line and say that, they were butthurt and offended by this.
Well, I'm sure those are coming. The cruise line did just apologize.
So
for
the-
whatever that's worth.
So when you apologize, does that mean you're admitting to doing something wrong?
Well, I'm sure.
I guess. Yeah.
So then would that
That's a good way to
lead to guilt? Meaning if there is a lawsuit that they would possibly have to pay for it?
I'm wondering what the lawsuit would be.
Yeah. good
What would
point.
that lawsuit be for?
You're not advocating for people to dress like that.
No.
No, but you're saying that there might not be grounds to sue.
I don't think it's the smartest thing to do, but I don't see a lawsuit in there.
All I know is I like to see them try that on Carnival.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, good point.
No kidding.
Oh, what are you looking at?
Still trying to find out.
Okay. You ever go to a casino on a cruise boat?
I could argue one of the only reasons why I would even go on a cruise boat is so I could go into the casino.
You go to the casino down the road here?
No.
Why
Oh,
not?
the one in the strip mall?
Yeah.
No. Matter of fact, I hate it. I don't even know how these things are legal. Same with the massage parlors. They're, in the city of Naples or Collier County, I believe it took like 10 years for them to even get a Hooters out on Pine Ridge Road. But yet, every strip mall, older strip mall that you drive by in Collier County, Lee County has a quote-unquote massage parlor. And now they have these adult casinos, which I've looked into. We have one in here. I watch them bring them in the back. They bring in one-armed bandit slot machines, and it attracts a certain type of clientele that leaves a fucking mess in front of the shop. There's cigarette butts everywhere. There's beer cans left because I'm not a fan of this. I don't know how it's legal, and I hope it comes to a stop, which I believe is part of this next story.
I've said this before too. They're beer cans and liquor bottles all over the parking lot. Like, nobody's tailgating to go to the post office.
No.
It's obvious where they're going.
Yeah, it's the casino or the massage parlor, which is no longer here, thank God.
Yeah, so you showed me they had just busted one of these things over in Miami, and apparently they're the ringleaders for the whole state.
Yeah, so there's a ringleader crew, FBI, all the alphabet fucking agencies were there busting this storage warehouse that was housing thousands of these slot machines, and they've been distributing them. They got some intel from the 4 or 5 people they arrested all throughout Southwest Florida. So maybe this place next door here will be closing soon. And if not, I encourage the county commissioner or whoever's in charge of that shit here in Collier County to look into it because it affects our business and the way that we operate here.
Do you think they're really making that much money, or do
No.
you think that they're using it to launder money?
It very well could be. I don't know what the inner workings are, but I know it's against the law. I mean, we had a hard time getting our doors open because we didn't have a fire extinguisher in the right spot. And these people are operating illegal operations. It's mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing.
I wonder what the Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd would call them.
Oh, I like him.
Did you see what happened here at the Dollar General up there in Mulberry?
I did not. Why don't you
So they-
inform us?
They are in search of a couple that the sheriff has labeled Mr. Clean and Mrs. Dookie.
Good names. Why?
So there's a video of this going around on TikTok, I believe. And a couple went into Dollar General, and the woman distracted the employees while the man went and stole $500 worth of Clorox, Tide, Gain, other items like that.
How did she distract everybody?
So why do you think he'd be called Mr. Clean? Because he stole a bunch of cleaning products. She's called Mrs. Dookie because she was shitting on the floor.
Oh my God. In the store, no qualms about it. Make it as egregious as possible to attract all the attention. And why something's going on over here in this hand, something over here is happening.
Yeah.
And Grady Judd came up with these two names?
His sheriff's dad. I don't know if it was Grady directly,
I'm
but
wondering if those are the same two parents that sent the other family a bill for their daughter going on the cruise.
Yeah. It sounds like it. Pretty shitty family.
oh, well, speaking of TikTok, you saw the TikTok ban. What do you think of that? You're a big TikTok guy.
Okay, I'm not a huge TikTok guy. I like TikTok.
I'd say you are.
I'm on TikTok. I only have about 1,000 followers, but TikTok is probably my least used platform out of all of them.
Okay.
As far as the ban was concerned, you knew it was coming. They've been talking about it for months. Gary Vee talks about all the time. Facebook bought Instagram. Before Instagram, there was Vine. There's a bunch of these platforms have come and gone. MySpace, MyFace, whatever they're called. There was a lot of these that have come and gone. So if you are and your business is solely representative on one platform, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So to any of the people that were screaming and kicking from the top of the mountains, oh my God, my TikTok shop's closed, I'm not going to be able to make any money. Shame on you for not getting onto any of the other platforms. That's just being lazy. I don't have any sympathy for them. That said, it didn't last very long. It wasn't, I don't even think it was 20 hours.
It didn't, but it had quite an effect. Like you're talking about these people that was their only source of income, right? So what did they do? A lot of them flocked to this new app called Red Note, which is also CCP owned. And it's so crazy that these people got on there and the terms and conditions are all written in Mandarin.
So you're so
No clue.
addicted and eager to get back on a platform that you're willing to sign. You just want to click through. Have you ever even read any of the terms and conditions?
No, I haven't even read the English
Have
ones,
you?
let alone the Mandarin ones.
You just assume everyone else is using it. Can't beat them, join them. You assume any of the risks that you get. They're listening to you. Yeah. But when it's in Mandarin like that and none of us can understand it, maybe there's the potential of grabbing a little bit more of the apple than they would, just by listening. Maybe they're taking passwords and...
Yeah. Well, you'd think a lot of these people would be happy after it got reinstated after, 24 hours, right? But a lot of them actually deleted the app off their phone. And the Google Store and the Apple Store no longer have TikTok available in there. So some of these influencers that was kind of their lifeblood, they're going to eBay and they're buying up used phones that had the app already installed on them. And
But what... Oh, I see. So you're saying the app's already installed, but if they went and updated the phone, then it would be gone?
No. So what happened is these people had it on their phone, right?
Yeah.
It got banned and they're like, fuck this. And they deleted it. They got it out of there. It's no more on their phone. Thinking, oh, well, I'll just download it again. They can't download it again because it's not in the Google Play Store nor the Apple.
So why does the old phone
Store.
matter?
Because they're buying old phones that have the app already installed on it.
Oh.
And then they can just sign in with their username on that app.
So the people selling them are like, oh, okay, light bulb.
Supply and demand.
iPhone 15, $3,100 used. They said there was 2 phones that were listed for $10,000 that sold. Now, they never disclosed the actual sale price, but you got to imagine they didn't come too far off of that, knowing the demand for it.
Well, what some of these people make per month on some of these platforms,
Well, yeah,
10 grand for the phone is short potatoes.
Yeah, that's true. It's a small investment.
Isn't there a restaurant in Cape Coral that does a healthy business with TikTok?
Yeah, there's a Mexican restaurant called El Toro, and they were a little upset with this ban because they've grown their business through TikTok. They've actually got 3.4 million followers. Oof. And they're drawing people from all over the state to this restaurant, all from these videos.
Okay, so have you seen any of the videos?
I have not, because I do not have TikTok.
Are you aware of this restaurant?
No. Have you been there?
No.
Me neither. But I'm gonna look it up as soon as we get off here. First of all, that's unbelievable. But again, shame on them if their business hurt because of this. With 3.4 million followers, you should easily be able to get 750,000 on any of the other platforms, because people that are following you on TikTok are usually on other platforms too. So like, hey, in case this thing shuts down, don't forget to like us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right.
But as far as the social media for a business, how do you think My Architectural Glass is doing, Dollar, as a guerrilla marketer, using social media to garner attention?
Oh, phenomenal. It doesn't matter where I go with Mom. If we go out to different places, they'll say that they follow Keith, and I know they're following you because of your social media presence.
What about it do you think is created a memorable experience for them to go out of their way to say something?
Because of the humor aspect of it, or over-the-line aspect.
Hold on. Say that again.
What do you mean over the line?
A little bit over a traditional aspect of what people would see. But, you tend to get enlighten people's day with some of the content that you do.
I've a lot of people that have met that didn't know me but only knew me through social media and then met Jay and I and gave us an opportunity on a glass job, start off by saying, well, first of all, I trust you because you're exactly the person in real life that I see on social media. So that's a plus. But two, they say like you're almost crazy like Fox, because Chris Voss taught us that a human brain is 31% smarter in a positive frame of mind. Nobody makes a good decision when they're mad. Now, when we're asking them to go ahead with a wine cellar or a whole house of glass railings, you're talking 6 figures plus. That's a serious decision. And we want to try and get every edge possible for them to feel comfortable in making the right decision. Because a lot of times we're competing with somebody maybe who's just starting a business or from the other coast, and they're 10, 15% below us. Now, we know they're not giving the same product, and more often than not, the customer knows. But by putting them in that 31% smarter, by putting them in a positive frame of mind, we feel like we're catching an edge.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
And so it's intentional.
But you can pull it off because it is you, because you are that way.
Yeah.
If you had done that same content and then they met you in person and you were totally different, like, oh, it was all a facade, that would have a negative effect.
I think it would.
So you have to be that way naturally for it to come across, and you do.
Well, I appreciate all the accolades. I'm glad this is on tape.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'd say it over and over
I mean,
again. It's true.
we've had people ask us like, you know, why do you do that? Why do you swear? Why do you why do you just do these crazy things? Well, I look at it this way. If you're watching a show, you're watching the commercials. You're not watching the commercials because they're all the same. You're watching the show. And we're the show.
Absolutely. And my entire life, whether it would be with my parents or my teachers, everybody always said, be yourself. Gary Vee says, you're going to be on social media, be yourself. Well, I like to swear. Been on construction most of my life. We're from New England. We're kind of a hardened individual. You know, I think that one of the things about being from New England that makes us a little bit harder is if you're from New England, you know, the weather sucks. It's gray. It's cold. It almost hardens us to our core. And typically when there's human beings like, yeah, we've been known to fucking swear. That's just what we do. Now, you're mature enough to know that you don't need to do that. Like Jerry Seinfeld can still be funny without swearing. That's just not my shtick. I like to swear. I love to swear.
It's okay. How many times have you met somebody that you followed and they are totally different when you meet them? You know, like the old saying, you shouldn't meet your hero. It's almost the same thing. There's people that you've met, and they're totally different than what you've seen on TV or on a podcast or somewhere else, you know, a live performance. And you meet them and say, boy, they're really jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
I would say
and it goes counterproductive.
It is extremely counterproductive.
That happens quite a bit.
It happens even more with their profile pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Because I get
The
up
old
with
filter?
people, yeah, and they see, and then I look at their picture, and then I see them in person. I go, wait, this isn't the same. Like, when the fuck did you take this picture?
I've seen that on a few companies' billboards going up and down the street.
Yeah.
There's a few people that dug out their high school picture.
being disingenuous.
Yeah.
New profile picture. You put on 70 pounds in 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, did you see speaking of TikTok and viral, did you see the thing with the Eagles fan and the Packers fan?
I saw this. I was hoping that you brought this story on. Did you see this?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
So what they don't show in this video is they don't show if or what let me set the context. Green Bay Packers are playing the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly, right? Now, anybody that's a diehard sports fan knows Philly fans could arguably be, depending on how you look at, the worst. Like, they're tough. They're hard.
You love them or hate them?
You either love them or you hate them, right? So you know that going here. Just like we know in Boston, I wouldn't go to New York Yankee Stadium wearing a Boston Red Sox shirt because I know I'm going to get beer thrown on me and probably punched in the face, and then I'll get in trouble because that's what happens in Fenway. If somebody goes in wearing Yankee gear, you just wouldn't do that. You wouldn't go into enemy territory and cause a stir. You kind of assimilate. So they didn't show if or what this girl did. Now, I'm not saying she did anything, but they didn't show what happened prior to the Eagle fan berating her and end up calling her the C word, you know, see you next Tuesday, along with a bunch of other Philly pleasantries. But then that was all captured on tape, I believe, by her husband.
Yes.
Who actually found it more important to film it instead of getting in between her and the guy.
Well, that's a good, you know what, that's a great thing. Just to start that off, if you were there with a friend or significant other and this was happening, are you just standing back filming or you're getting involved, right?
Well, if it's a guy talking to my girl, yeah, I'm going to get involved. And you know you're drinking there, so you're probably going to fight.
So right there, it just tells you this person has ulterior motives.
Right.
Well, are you positive that he was the one that filmed it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are?
Yes. Yes. And so in the aftermath of this Eagle fan actually got banned from the stadium for life.
Yeah, for life.
And he lost his job, which oddly enough was at a DEI consulting firm.
Yeah, of course.
Wait, what's a DEI?
You.
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
This guy works there.
Yes.
And he's the one calling her the C word. Ends up losing his job over this. He's a season ticket holder.
He is.
And he's banned from his stadium.
Yes.
And then what did the guy that was filming it?
So the guy that was filming it, he ended up setting up some half-assed GoFundMe for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe for her trauma or whatever it was. And people discovered that he is actually an influencer for Green Bay Packers fans. So he has several Green Bay Packers accounts that he posts videos and things on, and has many followers. And so these people got into the comments on the GoFundMe and started saying, we know what you're doing. You're trying to go viral.
So he left his wife out like a pigeon to be shit on by this other guy, captured it on his camera, and then started a GoFundMe, which he's probably going to be siphoning all the money out of. Meanwhile, the other guy lost his job. Not defending the guy for saying what he did. We don't know what she did or didn't do before that exchange happened, but he went for the nuclear option. We know some people that work here, like Bryce, for instance. If somebody even remotely pushes his buttons, he's going nuclear option. I could see this happening to him.
And he'd lose his job.
Okay, so that's a good question. If an employee of my shower door was caught on tape at a public forum saying something egregious, maybe because they had too much to drink or something, to somebody else, how would that be handled here at our facility? And I'm asking...
I don't know. We've never had that, but fortunately, we have an HR department.
We would have to defer to Amy Lee. Okay.
And we would look at our handbook and see how it's handled.
Maybe we can do a off-camera call with Amy Lee. We can report back on next week's episode. By the way, this is episode 25 of Hard Hat Highlights. If you haven't subscribed, we'd love for you to do so. But, man, so he loses his job. That's a tough thing. It's his personal life. Like, what happens out there, they say personal and business should be separate, but in this case, it's not.
Yeah, that's it should be the little separation of church and state there. I never thought I'd find myself defending an Eagles fan, and I still don't know if I am, but it certainly seems like the Packers guy, not standing up for his wife in the first place, seems like he's the one in the wrong.
Yeah, I know what the guy said was wrong, but we got to remember, fan is short for fanatic. And some of these sport fans, I was like this during our run during the Patriots. I mean, like clockwork, I'm watching the game on Sunday and I'm yelling. I find myself yelling at the TV. Now, luckily, Tom Brady would come down and win in the last 30 seconds almost every single time. But I know the emotion that it would invoke in me. And, you pour a dozen beers on top of that cost probably $1,000 at the stadium. I could see where someone could lose their cool pretty easy. But then for it to get dragged and lose his job over it, I mean... Man, that's tough.
Did he lose
These are
his job
words.
because he was a DEI counselor?
Oh, because of what it could be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again,
well, maybe he was trying to be inclusive. He was trying to include himself in the video.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Good point. But would he have lost his job if he was a longshoreman?
Probably not.
No, definitely not there.
Probably
would
not.
he be kicked out of the Navy if he was a sailor?
There might be a code of conduct that
be interesting.
Yeah,
I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
Well, either way, somebody went too far.
Yeah.
Speaking of going too far, we are going to be doing some work here in Fort Myers Beach, and I had the pleasure of meeting the town manager a few weeks ago, Mr. Andy Hyatt. Very, very nice guy. It turns out Andy now is resigning at the end of his term in 100 days because he's received threats over the Red Coconut RV Park. So the Red Coconut RV Park, for those of you that don't know, is a long-standing, I guess, campground right on the beach in Fort Myers Beach. And they're getting rid of that, and they're putting up high-rise condos. And the residents of Fort Myers Beach are not very happy about that because it's always been kind of more of the old school, old Florida type of thing. And somebody went so far as to hunt down Andy's wife, found her name, found her work email, and sent threatening emails to her. She doesn't even live in the area, by the way.
So somebody from the RV park.
Somebody defending somebody who's an opponent of the high rises.
I see. Reached out and was, I see, trying to scare or, probably watched a lot of Sopranos trying to get him to change his mind.
like thinking he's like a good old boy or something. That's gone a little too far.
Okay, so isn't this a high-paying job?
$200,000 a year.
So he doesn't like the fact that somebody reached out to his wife unknowingly. She has no part of this. And, the heat's getting turned up a little bit or a lot of it in his case. Your biggest problem is your biggest problem. And he thought it was so bad that he should walk away from his job.
Well, I think to take that back before we turn it over to Dollar, I think he's doing the opposite of what the Packers fan did. He's stepping in for his wife.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Bill, your thoughts?
It's so complicated. There's so much to unpack on that one.
Well, let's put it in
obviously he's not leaving a business. I'm looking as a business owner. I've got 192 employees to protect, and something that we've worked at. He's an employee of the city, so it's a little different. And the guy is a really nice guy, from what you say. He could probably easily get another job if he had to, and takes his way. I don't like the fact that somebody feels that they can bully somebody, because that's what's happening, and then the guy walks away from the job. Usually you don't give in to terrorists like that, but I understand what he's doing.
Okay, so because you said that, we at my shower door, a lot of times we go out, we take out an old enclosure, and we put in a brand new one that they've selected, they've paid for, we manufactured. Sometimes we take away a curtain. And a lot more often than not, the customer asks, can you throw this away? So we put it in the truck, we throw it in our dumpster. So let's say we go out, the guys go out, they do a banger job, they take the curtain, nobody's there, they take the curtain with them, they install the door, and 2 days go by, and the husband calls and says, you guys took my curtain. I didn't tell you to take it. You threw it away. That curtain came from my grandmother, and it means a lot to me. And you're like, I'm sorry. And, there's nothing we could do. It's been thrown away. We just assumed that you wanted to throw it away. And the next day, they fire off a letter to your wife saying, I can't believe your husband, the piece of shit, threw away my special shower curtain. I'm going to kill you guys. What say you?
Wow. That's a big hypothetical there, huh?
Well, I'm just kind of rephrase it around basically what's happening to this guy.
Obviously, I'm sticking up for my wife, but I'd say bring it on.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Bring it on.
Sorry, pal.
Yeah, I'm here at the showroom. Come by anytime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and my boys are there too.
Call his bluff. I like it. I like it. You don't give in to that. You got to hold the line. Go down with the ship.
I agree.
All right.
Well, on that note, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm sure you got it too. It's prime time for you to be trolling the shores of the Gulf of America looking for your next victim.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us on this special episode of Hard Hat Highlights, accompanied by Dollar Bill himself on episode 25. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so now. But until next time.
See you then.
Out.